gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh, yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @2SweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I'm your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi. And as always, I am joined by my good friend Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on, gags? I'm having a great time in my well-lit studio. You look great in the hub of Indiana. Ian he's had an experience. He's fried. He looks sunburnt from the proximity of the desk lamp. But it's you. It's I. It's a full-time part-timer @Ian Garavaglia. Ian, sup, dog?
What's up, dog? I'm feeling good. I got some good Chipotle in today. I had a good work day in today. I had a good workout day today. It was chest day in the old hotel gym. It's one single machine. I love that thing.
A lot of good.
I think I'm going to move over here. But yeah, no, out in Michigan at the moment. I'll be back tomorrow and hopefully live from my own setup back in Indianapolis next week. Hopefully.
There we go.
Yeah, so for our audio listeners that are listening at a later date, Ian is in a hotel room right now, and you can find out yourself what Ian's looking like. He's looking great, by the way, I must say. If you just go to YouTube, we highly recommend you guys go to YouTube. I think that's the best way to consume this show, because now since we are basically just a live podcast, I say you go to our YouTube channel, just search the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, be a friend and tell a friend, because once we reach 400 subscribers, Tuck, what are you going to give away?
Well, I got a signed Rey Mysterio. I own 2 Rey Mysterios, and I don't know how that happened. Both are certified. Both are legit. I legit do not know. I know I bought one for sure. I don't know how I got the other one. I have not met him. I haven't done a meet and greet. So both of those were online purchases. I don't know why I have 2. I'm giving one away.
And
I ended up with 2 Bianca Belairs once too. And
I think you got that at WrestleMania 40 or WrestleMania 39, didn't you? Didn't you get one of those Biancas there?
Yeah, Bianca, and then I got one in Cody, AEW Cody. That's what I got there. But yeah, the collection's growing. The collection is moving. This is not the last, one of the last podcasts in the man cave as we know it. This is becoming August's bedroom. He deserves his own space, and I have to grow up. I turn 35 tomorrow.
Happy birthday, everyone. Give Tuck a happy birthday in the chat. Tucky's turning 35. Looking fine at 35. Oh, be excited.
No, I'm not upset about my birthday, 35. It's just, it's kind of a weird time. I feel like I'm distinctly supposed to be an adult, and I don't have it figured out. Every day we are carrying about 17 plates, trying to balance all that stuff out. So, yeah, moving rooms, but bigger room. The backdrop will improve. That is my hot take. I'll have a TV behind me so I can put the logo background. So stay tuned for that.
Like
a lot of exciting. Oh yeah.
lot of things going on in all of our worlds as Ian is in another state every other day, it seems like. So, Ian, I'm glad you could make it even live from the hotel room. But let's go to the chat because the chat is popping large, as Ian would say. Robbie Collins is in the house. He said OTM, OTM. Hot Sauce Bill Moss is also in the chat. He said he can't wait to talk about SmackDown. Yes, a lot of good things happened on last week's SmackDown. Kicks open the door. He's here for hookers and wrestling talk. Tim, I don't know where the hookers are at. Ian, did you order any? Because I didn't.
I think they're on the way. They'll be here after the show. I apologize.
Yeah.
We
Makes a
call
lot
them
of sense.
escorts, so
Yeah.
I don't know about
You
that.
are close to Las Vegas, so you would know, right, Tuck?
The Bunny Ranch is not far away, so
We might have to take a visit on an OTM road trip. Maybe do a vlog. Who knows? But
a road trip will take you 30 hours. Hop on a plane.
I'll fly to your place, and then we'll road trip.
Oh yeah.
That'd be quite the vlog. The Great Brown Hope did say, though, he will send 2 autographed Four Loco merch and a Four Loco forearm koozie that was once Riley Reed's, I think, or is a mold of Riley Reed. I don't know. If you know who Riley Reed is, I'm not going to explain it any further.
As a happily married man, I am very unfamiliar with
job.
that. I just hope everyone has fun.
A lot of people. Never mind. I'm not going down that path. Tucky's shirt giving me Dudley Boy vibes. That's because it is, right? Look at him.
Come
Wore
on.
that at SummerSlam. I'm wearing the SummerSlam hat. Ian, where's your SummerSlam merch?
You accidentally on the SummerSlam vibes here. I rock the Dudley Boy shirt. He's got the SummerSlam hat. Wild. Ian, what's on your chest?
Well, it's currently a wiffle ball T-shirt that was from the World Wiffle Ball Classic. Actually, one of my favorite designs because it's based off the Indiana flag, just with a bunch of wiffle balls.
That is cool. Vibing.
Yeah, it is.
It's really comfy too.
It was one of our worst wiffle ball tournaments, but we got a cool shirt out of it, and it was in Crown Point. So, Tuck is Scorpio 2, Brown and Tuck Scorpio Kings. You love to see that. Tim, everybody wishing you a happy birthday.
The show is off to a great start. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate that.
You know what? Look at Dirk. He said, congratulations, almost birthday boy.
Dirk.
Dirk. Great name.
Oh, anybody named Dirk sounds like a stand-up individual.
What a name, right? Dirk family.
Always good to see Dirk in the chat. The chat is really going off tonight, which is, you love to see it. We're going to get into SmackDown here very shortly, but before we do, guys, don't forget to check out all the wonderful merch that we have available at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. Ian, if they're not familiar with our website, what are some of the designs that they could check out on the website?
Well, you go for our fan favorite, which is the honorary Mark shirt. Still, I think is number one in my heart, and will always be number one until a better design comes out. Until the Papa March design comes out. Again, it's going to be a little while. I'll have to settle down and come up with some designs and actually do them. But we also have our winter collection. You could get your sweatshirts, which are again very comfortable. I did finally get my. It was the Main Event Wrestling Network merchandise sweatshirt, and love it. Very comfortable. I mean, you name it, we have it, and that could go to koozies, to mugs, whatever you need. We could probably even come up with and put it on the site just for you.
Yeah, we can workshop some things, and like Robbie's saying, the OTM holiday sweaters. This is the perfect time to buy one of those. So head on over to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast if you want to support OTM. And you brought up the Main Event Wrestling Network. A lot of good things going on over there. Happy 1-year anniversary to the Great Brown Hope that just pumped out a fantastic blog about Baron Corbin and his run in the WWE. Highly recommend checking that out. And if you want to, make sure you're following us at mainevent_net, and you can check out all the good content going on over there. We got a couple main event mixers coming up as well. November 23rd, we'll be live before Full Gear. You'll get to see all of OTM on that show.
Is that like a pre-show? What time is that?
Pre-show. I haven't came up with a time yet, but if you follow the socials, you'll be able to keep up with the main event mixer and what time we're starting. And then, of course, December 1st, the day after Survivor Series, we'll be doing another mixer over there. But that's not all the exciting things we have going on, because we discussed it a little bit last night, but it is now official. We have a date for the 4th annual OTMEs. Tuck, if they are not familiar with the OTMEs, why don't you give the fans a little rundown of what's going to be going down on December 19th?
4th annual. That is wild to me. The OTMEs are the annual awards we distribute. Well, not the fans distribute. I mean, realistically, we I think we come up with the nominees, right? We come up with the candidates.
We do.
And then we let the people vote. And you have a voice. And so the On the Mark Wrestling community bestows upon wrestlers, events, in many different categories for our best of 2024. We're playing the hits. So ladies and gentlemen out there in the wrestling industry, if you want to crack at the awards, December 19th is the night. So you got a few more weeks to get the match of the year, pay-per-view of the year.
I think it's WrestleMania. I don't think we're going to have to discuss that one a lot, but we will discuss it though, nonetheless. But yeah, December 19th for all that. And the Great Brown Hope said he would be honored to present one of the OTMEs. I think we can make that work because we were talking that maybe we can add a few categories because it seems to be getting bigger and bigger every single year. Ian, I think this will be year 3 for you on the OTME. So I hope you're going to be ready to be dressed to impress.
I think the first year, actually, I did present an award. I think I've been there every single year. I could be wrong. Don't quote me.
You could be right.
Could be right. Could be wrong. That's the life of Ian.
Because before you were, one of the staples of OTM, you were just a regular Mark like everybody else.
Hey, we all start somewhere. You too can go from a Mark to a Mark on a screen.
No vacancy over here, guys. Sorry. There's no openings on OTM. So you cannot become our Mark, but you can become a Mark somewhere else. That's fine. But yeah, guys, December 19th.
But light up the comment section if you want us to kick Gags out. I mean, I think we're willing to do that. Whatever the community wants. So I mean, if there is a need to create a vacancy because everyone in the chat hates on Gags, that would be tragic, but a necessary change I think would have to happen. So all the Gags slander welcome.
If I'm gone, who's gonna tweet out everything? Who's gonna post the episodes? Who's gonna run the StreamYard? Who's gonna do all that?
No, we'll find somebody. I mean, okay. You'd be vacant. Whoever, someone willing to do all of those things.
I don't think the chat would want to see me gone. You see, look at that. Robbie said Gags is in. They don't want me to go. The people love me, which is rare. Just let me know when Ian can't make it. Wow, Bill. All right, do you got heat with Bill?
I don't know. I did give him some backlash last night on one of his tweets. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but
I saw it.
All right. We're sorted out.
This is rivalry level 1 in my gym, right? We've had a bump in the hallway, and now things are about to get real between Hot Sauce Bill Moss and the full-time part-timer. WrestleMania season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Bill, you're not supposed to say just kidding. Keep going with the promo. Damn it. It's still real to us. But also, before we get into SmackDown, shout out to our friends over at Pro Wrestling Ventures. They just had their Brawl in the Beer Hall show that happened this Sunday. We got to see a few of those clips. Ian, you actually brought one of the clips to my attention. Myron Reed versus Mustafa Ali looked incredible. Obviously, it's not available quite yet, but we did get a couple new followers. So shout out to Myron Reed, who did follow OTM back. Joey the Jet Avalon and Matt Diesel, who all took place on that card and had fantastic matches, I'm sure, and those will be available soon. But Ian, I know you got a chance to see some of those clips. We talked about it with Steve, how great that show was going to be. It looked like a great show.
Yeah, and all of the reviews that I've seen on Twitter, like obviously I've been in another state while the entire pay-per-view is going on, but I wish I could have went there because every single review and comment I've seen just replying to any clips that have come up have been, I wish I could go. When is it going to be on YouTube? Because I mean, we talked to Steve last week, and he is a genuine dude that just loves wrestling. He wants to see good wrestling because he knows what good wrestling looks like. And if you haven't checked out the interview, please do. And that's not just like to clickbait you. It was a really good interview, and we hope to bring Steve on just for a normal wrestling talk one week.
Maybe we can get him involved in the OTMEs. We can hand out the Indie of the Year award or something like that. The OTM Indie. I don't know. It's just workshopping ideas here, but Robbie, thank you. He said, well done, guys, getting involved with Pro Wrestling Ventures. You love to see it. Yeah, Pro Wrestling Ventures, Sloppy Henry that runs their X account and all their socials. He clipped a lot of our interview questions for their promo packages going into the show. Tuck, I don't know if you got the opportunity to see a little bit of that, but it was kind of surreal seeing our name attached to an independent wrestling show.
Yeah, well, I think when when companies go out of their way to make time for, again, a smaller podcast, didn't have to do it. I think it helps both parties. It's a way for them to create and engaging content as well. And Steve carries himself. He's a true professional. Like you said, he's a fan, and that is reflected in the cards. Thinking all the way back to like the limits that he went to put on those stadium shows during COVID back with Warrior, the amount of red tape he had to get through, I'm sure, to allow us and allow the athletes to do what they do. It says a lot about him, and also the state of independent wrestling, right? A lot of great talent out there. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, independent wrestling, even with the WWID program, seems to be creating a lot of buzz. And the Main Event Wrestling Network has great independent wrestling coverage with the Wrestling Junkies and the Indie Wrestling Guide. So if you want more about the indies, definitely check out our friends over at the Main Event. But boys, I say we get into it. The background behind us, you see it, everybody's pointing their ones to the sky because it seems as if the OG Bloodline has officially reunited as we are on the road to Survivor Series and that War Games match now. Originally, I think we all assumed that this was going to be a 4v4 situation. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Tuck, I know you probably got the chance to watch Friday Night Smackdown. Do you feel like this was a little bit rushed, or is this the right time to reunite everyone? Tell me how you were feeling during that moment when everybody did come together and throw their ones up.
Well, I felt like the timing was right because what a missed opportunity it would be to make it to Survivor Series without this match. With how much attention has been drawn, it's a compelling story, and then it gives us a 2-week setup. Essentially, the go home show should not do much. So, I mean, we're like this week and the 21st, or this week and the 22nd. We got some stuff to do. Because there will be a show on the 29th, but taped go home show, safe. So who are these fifth members going to be? That's another layer to the story, and so there's a lot of intrigue. I think it's compelling storytelling. I thought they just got it going too late, in my opinion, forcing the rush. I thought there were opportunities you could do it a little bit sooner. But everything has made sense as well. So I'm excited for it.
Ian, I know you probably haven't got the chance to watch live often, but I'm sure you've seen clips. How have you felt about this new chapter, I guess you could say, in the Bloodline story and them reuniting on SmackDown last week?
You know what? This could be a hot take, but maybe it's not. I'm kind of more invested on the new approach and the new relationships of the OG Bloodline, especially with the new characters that we've had. Now we have a main event Jey Uso, we have a Roman Reigns that's fallen from grace. I've kind of, again, it gets back to that more. I like a good faction war every now and then, but I fall more in love personally to the one-on-one relationships, and when that molds into one whole faction. That stuff's really intriguing to me, especially the Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, New Day stuff that's going on. That's the stuff that grabs my attention. So right now, that's kind of dragging my attention more away from it, because now you have backstage segments where Jey Uso's kind of, bumping chest with Roman Reigns, and he's not afraid to. That's the stuff that really gets me and drives me. I kind of want to flip it on you, Kyle. Are you more intrigued by that? Being 100% honest, or the actual Bloodline story they're trying to portray?
No, I like the points that you brought up. I was going to bring up the fact that we're not really seeing a different Roman Reigns. Obviously, he's being kinder to his family and whatnot, but you could tell he's trying to shed the old skin of Roman Reigns being the tribal chief and just the guy that bossed people around. They're basically, like you were saying, they're now putting Roman in his place, and I think that's where I'm more interested in this Bloodline story as well. So I actually would agree with you there, but overall, I do agree with what Tuck was saying. I think this was the right time to do it because we don't have much time until War Games. And I think somebody even in the comments said it, or maybe you said it, Tuck, that they could have maybe even done it earlier. But always a good moment, especially when you have, the Bloodline involved. I was worried about the Bloodline story kind of being prolonged into 2024. But Tuck, it seems like they are just keep finding ways to evolve this story to where, I don't know if I can speak for you, but I'm not getting tired of watching any Bloodline saga. I don't know about you.
There was a lull when it was solo time without Roman. But that is not necessarily a bad thing given their opportunity to retool it, refresh it, and now like this is kind of what the NWO was going for, but did very poorly, in my opinion. Adding members, growing the group, changing that dynamic in WCW, splitting to black and red. There's a lot of similarities. The thing that we're dealing with is this is a family, and everyone has the right to be there, including Sami Zayn. And so they've retooled and refreshed it. It is I think both of these have lasted longer than NWO and DX. That's what, which is incredible because that is like one of the hottest runs in professional wrestling history, and we're still here.
I don't think it's a hot take. Go ahead, Ian.
I just wanted to add my 2 cents because kind of piggybacking on what you said, Tuck. It's kind of like the NWO situation, but I kind of disagree. Like, I think the whole Solo Sikoa, like that stint of the new Bloodline, especially when it was first starting, I think it was a win-win situation for the WWE booking because, I mean, they could have what they did and people weren't accepting the new Solo Sikoa. Now they're playing it off like this is how it was meant to be, and this built up Roman Reigns' return even more. And now your Civil War is even greater because you have one side that people want, and now you have another side. There's some conflicting. It's getting to the point where it's conflicting ideas and interests. Like WCW had NWO, and back then that was pretty much all they had. So what they did was trying to keep bolster it and refreshing it by adding more. We want more faces onto that. Now you have the opposite effect where you have a group where you want to force it on people, but at the same time, if it works and if people actually enjoy it, cool, awesome, we can figure it out then. Now we have this situation. We don't want this. We want the old one back. So I see what you're saying, but at the same time, kind of the opposite.
Well, I think it's similar in that this is a faction carrying a company for months on end, and the NWO lost its luster because they were doing too much with here. I think I think the Solo slowdown, that little lull we went into, was kind of a positive because it kept it going, but it also built in returns of characters we already have emotion for. Not here's this new guy in NWO, but that idea that it is the hottest part of pro wrestling for a long period of time is the similarity to me.
Well said. And I think what Tim's saying is well said. He said all good stories have peaks and valleys. The Solo chapter stinking made this part with Roman so much better. I think he's 100%
we did get to a point where we wanted to see Solo get his ass beat. Like we have arrived.
Well, me and Ian talked about it numerous times when you had to take a couple episodes off. Like people were saying, "Oh, this just feels like a Temu version of Solo Sikoa." Yeah. That was the point. Yeah. That's the story they were trying to tell. So it's now we're at this spot where it's who is going to be that fifth member, and I saw a lot of speculation going on in the chat. You guys kind of jumped the gun. It's okay. We're going to talk about it now, but let me just ask you what you think is the most likely situation. Tuck, let me go to you first.
To be the fifth member?
For both teams, yeah. Who do you think could fit that void?
I have no idea.
Do you want to hear my theories?
Yeah, I'm interested in everyone else's takes. I have there's a few, but like I don't have a front runner, and I have not heard anything. Not that I've necessarily went searching for it, but a compelling layer. Is it gonna be? It's not gonna be Cody.
No. So that's who I think is the obvious choice for the babyface side of
got
things.
The Jey Uso tag team connection. Roman and Cody have tagged.
And they're gonna have Cody versus Roman again. That match is definitely gonna have its trilogy. I think Cody on the side of the OG Bloodline and The Rock on the side of Bloodline 2.0 makes the most sense. Because why would have The Rock shown up at the end of Bad Blood if he wasn't gonna get involved in the Survivor Series just to get a pop? I think that had to do something with this story. I think all along we were building to The Rock potentially getting that spot in a War Games match. He doesn't need to do much. He doesn't have to get involved in the super physicality of it all. He can just be the final boss character. Number two that makes sense to me is Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. If you don't want to do that title match just yet, you have Kevin Owens, and people would be like, why would Kevin Owens team up with Bloodline 2.0? He's been beefing with the Bloodline for his whole career. Well, he also had ties to Sami Zayn, and now Sami Zayn is running right back to the OG Bloodline. So this could be out of spite to go against Sami Zayn and knock some sense into him. And then the third one, more out of left field, I think Zilla Fatu and Hikuleo could, go to either side because there's rumors of both of them maybe making their way, but it's probably a little too soon for Zilla Fatu and Hikuleo to be in that big of a spot. So I'm not sure if, Ian, you had some thoughts on who could be the fifth member.
So I have anti-thoughts. With the new Bloodline, I don't see anybody, like literally anybody joining that new Bloodline, and like just realistically by paper making sense other than somebody that's actually in the family. It wouldn't make any sense for a Kevin Owens to join the new Bloodline because from an outside perspective, it is a family. That side is genuinely a family. The OG Bloodline could bend the rules a little bit because that's the face group. That heel group, you could place a Hikuleo in there, and it makes sense because they can make a star on a heel faction. You could see Jacob Fatu is a perfect reason for that. No one really knew who Jacob Fatu is. A lot of Twitter warriors obviously knew his full entire history. But from a WWE broad perspective, you don't really know, and you don't need to know a heel. As long as they are impending and very good in the ring, that's all you need for this heel faction, especially a +5 person on a faction. For the face side, I think I have to agree with you. I think it has to be Cody. He's not really involved in anything right now besides it's...
Well, and look what Doc's saying. He's not advertised for Survivor Series either.
Right, and you cannot leave a guy like Cody Rhodes off any pay-per-view. Even just for an advertising perspective.
It's QB1.
Exactly. So I'm going to have to kind of agree with you. I think Cody is probably going to happen. That's like a 95% chance. The Rock... that would probably be my number one as well. But the thing is, if The Rock joins the heels side, I think that really shows who's going to win the entire match. I don't see The Rock losing anytime soon.
I agree with you. And originally I thought this would be, the OG Bloodlines get back right here. But I'm also thinking if we're going to set up matches in the future, Tuck, say Solo versus Roman is your plan at next year's WrestleMania, it probably would make sense for the new Bloodline to get a win at War Games, wouldn't it?
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they won.
Right?
You have, again, Team Roman is becoming this, thrown together, had to talk it into, they had to get Jay back on the team.
Why is the podcast dad yelling no?
Sammy had to get convinced back. They got to find a fifth member when Bloodline 2.0 has been 4 strong for months. There are things, but I do think in the house, Mr. Smith in the house. I do think that it'll be big. I hope it's not Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed.
Podcast dad says OG Bloodline needs to win. I don't know if I agree. I'll ask his son, Ian.
Yeah, no, I don't think so, because with a loss with a big faction, that means there are cracks in that faction. That is my standpoint, and the new Bloodline, that is the most solidified faction right now. This face faction, you have, I'd say the most solidified people, relationship-wise, are Jimmy and Roman. That's it. Sammy, I guess, sure, but it's still Sami Zayn. You never know with him. Cody, especially if you're throwing Cody in there, you got Cody, Roman, Jay, and pretty much every single person besides, I guess, Sammy. Any loss to anybody, you could start pointing fingers around the face faction. That heel faction, every single person should like each other unless it's The Rock coming in, because then you don't know The Rock's intentions. So that's where my brain goes. I don't think the heels can lose here.
I honestly think this is, by definition, a coin flip match. I think you can make a strong case. And I think the fifth member is going to have a big impact on that. Because like you said, Ian, if The Rock is that fifth member, there is no chance, absolutely no chance The Rock is losing.
He has to get pinned to lose that match.
Robbie asked, I wonder if Sammy could be the reason the OG Bloodline lose. From the small clips I've seen as Sammy joined back, it's been very shaky. I could see that, Tuck. I could see Sammy being the reason they lose.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
There are things like there's a number of things. Who's and the element of the fifth? I wouldn't be surprised if either faction won, and that's what makes it compelling.
I don't hate this though. Podcast Dad said Jacob Fatu versus Solo in Vegas. Mark it down. I think they're going to go Solo versus Roman. That's just me, and I think they can maybe build the Jacob Fatu versus Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker's another interesting name. I know Ian got excited there because we've seen backstage segments. I think even Paul Heyman has interacted with Braun Breaker. Is there any chance Braun gets involved here at War Games?
I mean, I don't know. That's just reach. Yeah, I think it's too much of a reach. Also, I did want to point that out though, because you did point out like the backstage segments. They were very adamant. I don't think there is a 0% chance Seth is involved with this match at all. They made it very adamant that he doesn't like either side. And the people that are throwing out like Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, congrats on your very creative side. That's not going to happen.
There's not a lot of dots connecting there. Like, why would Bronson Reed said, you know what, fuck it, new bloodline, I'm in. No, he's fine on his own. Doc said, like I said earlier, if New Bloodline loses, where do they go? And I think that's a lot of our questions right now, is that they probably would benefit more. Hey, Doc, no spoilers. When nobody's looked up spoilers here, at least I haven't. He said, I don't know, Ian. Spoilers say otherwise, because they have taped a few shows, I think. So hope they're on there. Yeah, Tony, don't go any further with that, bud. But yeah, any other thoughts from the OG Bloodline reuniting and on the road to Survivor Series, boys?
Finally back on track. Finally back on track, and I'm excited for every single episode and what I could see. So
I agree. Tuck, anything else?
No, sir.
All right, let's move on. We asked the Twitter sphere or X, whatever you want to call it, to give us some questions. We're going to open up the OTM Mailbag. It's something we do about twice a year when we got a down week because there's a lot of things coming up. We got Full Gear next weekend. The weekend after that, we got Survivor Series. And the weekend after that, we have NXT Deadline. So that also means 3 straight weeks of coupon codes at the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com.
It's holiday season, too. Come on now. Load up them cards.
Maybe I'll just make Xmas the code for the rest of the year. Christmas.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Might as well. Mailbag is open indeed, and Robbie was one that was very active in the mailbag. So let's jump right into the mailbag here. This one from Tony, who is also in the chat. I'll go to Tuck here first. Who will be the next WWE star to jump to AEW, and who will be the next AEW star to jump on over to WWE?
The next AEW star to jump to WWE, the lowest hanging fruit would be Ricky Starks, I think. I don't think that's much of a stretch. From WWE to AEW, heading from WWE to AEW is Dragon Lee.
I don't want that to happen.
No, I don't think so either. I just think he fits that mold that Dragon Lee comes over, and then you throw him in the mix with that Ricochet, Will Ospreay. There's a number of characters over there that I think would have compelling matches. I do think WWE, I don't think it's likely, but I do think WWE likes Dragon Lee enough to keep him too. I think we're just scratching the surface with that. I could see him being a U.S. champion or an Intercontinental champion in 2025. I don't know.
I don't think that's a hot take. Ian, you got any thoughts on this one?
Ricky Starks is obviously going. I'll throw a wild card in there. I might get hate, but Britt Baker, I think, is a top candidate right now. There's nowhere for her to go right now in AEW, and it's losing some steam, and it kind of seems like she's losing it too. Just like person, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that a main roster? That's a move to the main roster, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. AEW champion.
Ian, I'm glad you said that because when her music hit last night and there was just crickets, I'm like, if she goes to WWE, she's a star away.
Correct.
I love that.
And then let's throw this for a WWE to AEW. It's not a heavy hitter. But it would be one that I would like to see because I genuinely like watching him in the ring. For promos, I don't really care for. Cedric Alexander.
Maybe he gets involved in the Hurt Syndicate.
I would love that because he deserves a lot of shine because that dude could really wrestle.
It seems like everybody loves your Britt Baker to WWE shout, so that's a good one there. Oh God, of course, there's the Great Brown Hope. Send Rey Mysterio to AEW. You know, he's got ties at least to All In. Wasn't he on the first All In?
Oh yeah.
So there's something there. I'm not gonna say anything that you guys said. I'm gonna go with the different one and go with Miro. That's one that we really don't know what's going on with him. I mean, I could have said Keith Lee too because his wife Mi Chin is in the WWE and we haven't seen him in a while. I would think Miro coming back to WWE would make a lot of sense. But would he be Miro or would he be Rusev?
He'd be Rusev.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think both of them it's been due to injuries and other marital issues, especially with the Miro side. Is what I've seen.
This is true. Thought Miro was released. I didn't see that.
Still signed.
And Doc, you asked the question and then you stole my take. He literally just countered what I was going to say. Shinsuke Nakamura to AEW would make a lot of sense just because he really has nothing left to accomplish, I think, in the WWE. Ever since Triple H took over, surprisingly, we've seen less and less of Shinsuke. So he's probably got a couple years left to, have some dream matchups in AEW. So that was literally going to be my shout right there.
I could see him going back to New Japan, if anything. If he doesn't retire after WWE, I see him going back to New Japan for one last run.
Yeah. And if Rusev did come back, Robbie, I would love to see him face John Cena again. That'd be a good one. Also, a good shot from the Great Brown Hope. He said he wants to see Hook in WWE, and the WWE style would complement his character. I think more NXT though. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, I don't see the Hook. I like what they're doing with him in AEW. I don't think they'd give him this much shine in WWE. He's a small dude.
He is. Yeah, I could see that take. Bill Moss said Okada. Okada had his chance.
That ship sailed.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, unfortunately. And yeah, it's okay, Tony. Yeah, I guess great minds think alike. Robbie, I don't see that ever happening either, unfortunately. As much as I think all would love to see that. And Great Brown Hope makes a good point. Shinsuke is their Asia ambassador, has been working with Noah, and we'll get more Noah guys to join WWE. So maybe he wouldn't go. Just something I would like to see. But say his name and he appears. Where will Joe Hendry be in 5 years? From Robbie Collins. Ian, I'll let you answer this one first. Where do you see Joe Hendry in 5 years?
Well, I think the obvious answer is WWE. He's made that very clear, like that is a big dream of his.
Right.
Well, I'm just going to stick to it because I think WWE is going to throw their name or throw their hat in the ring. I guess, pun intended, but I think he would be very well suited in WWE.
That's the obvious answer, and I'm going to
main roster right away.
I think he's a mid-carder on the main roster, personally, but that's where I see him. Talk. What about you?
He's going to be 41 in 5 years.
Yeah,
he's 36. I didn't know he was 36. I thought he was younger than that.
Lost it at WrestleMania as IC champion.
5 years. Yeah, I could see it.
I mean, he could take that LA Knight route. LA Knight's, I think, like 44 now.
42, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Joe Hendry 5 years from now would already be an NXT champ, IC champ, and tag champ. That's a hell of a resume. And looks like you and Tony were on the same page. Hendry and LA Knight Ultimate over upper mid-card tag team. Could be something. And yes.
Yeah, but LA Knight's almost 50 in 5 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think about.
He's 47. He'll be 47 in 5 years. He's 42 right now.
So we can still do it?
Just turned 42, November 1st.
Finn Balor's over 50. He's still rocking, isn't he? He don't think he's over 50.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on him.
He's got to be in his middle 40s. That's
I guess 44.
Yeah, that seems about right. Fair enough. Not from LA Knight.
43.
43. Oh. All right. Sorry, Finn.
He's another one, though, still just shredded.
Insane.
What about
That'll be you in 7 years, right, Todd?
I like to eat too much. I don't know if I'll ever get that. He's like, to get shredded like that, you got to be peeled. You know what I mean? Like almost an uncomfortable amount of like an uncomfortably small amount of body fat.
You think he has a cheat day, or does he do? Probably doesn't do cheat days.
It's maybe a cheat meal. like a cheat meal. I don't know about a full cheat day. Like it's hard to stay dialed like that. But again, he also is in his shirt a lot. So like, and there are
I
ways,
wouldn't
but
own
he's
shirts if I was him.
my God.
What's the point of having a shirt if you look like Finn Balor? Let's be honest. I don't know if you guys saw the latest Celtic workout with Chelsea Green, but she was talking about her cheat day meals. I forgot what she said she started the blueberry pancakes to start the day. Then she loads up on Five Guys and just gets a shit ton of fries and a big burger. And then she gets a whole vanilla cake from her local grocery store because she eats well for 6 days of the week, and then that's her cheat day. I think that's a solid cheat meal.
I have cheat weeks.
I have a cheat life.
I had about a cheat decade here, boys. So I mean, you got to find that balance.
Yeah, see, Bill gets it. If I was Finn Balor, I'd be shirtless all the time.
I'm a teacher. I would not be.
I'm not going to go into that. Tony asks, Goldberg reportedly will have one more retirement match next year. Cena versus Goldberg, first time ever? ? Give me your dream opponent. Cena versus Goldberg would be an absolutely terrible match. And this is coming from a guy this is coming from John Cena's my GOAT. But John Cena had the worst match on the card 2 years ago. Let's be real.
Also, we had another match, basically the same thing. It was Goldberg versus Undertaker, and it was a 4-year younger Goldberg then?
Give me Goldberg, Braun Strowman again.
I was going to say Goldberg, Braun
yeah.
Breaker. Goldberg, Braun Breaker would be my match. Spear versus spear, former football players. It just makes a lot of sense to me.
Gunther?
I think that's where it's going.
Bad
right?
blood thing. You know, they had a thing. I don't know.
Makes me love Chelsea even more. Chicks that dig Five Guys greater than. Apparently the Five Guys.
That is not my type of lady. I would prefer my chick to have one guy.
I now get it.
Just one.
I've been cheating since 8 years old. Don't worry, Bill. You're still looking great. Tim Vicious said Goldberg versus Hitman one last time. Yeah, I'm sure that would go over well.
Goldberg.
What about this? Goldberg versus Little Jimmy? Yeah, I'm glad we're taking it very serious, guys, in the comments. No, Great Brown Hope. That would be another terrible match. He said Goldberg versus LA Knight. Goldberg wins.
Some questions bring out the worst in people. You know what I mean? And we are choosing violence in the chat right now.
Thanks, Tony. But no, Bill Moss actually has an interesting one. Goldberg versus Obafemi. That's his first match on the main card.
Oba's too big.
I think Oba's too green.
Oh no.
They kind of work the same style.
Yeah. That's fine.
That's a risky one to throw out there.
I think it's got to be Braun Breaker. Ian, what do you think? I don't know if you gave me one.
I like the idea of Braun Breaker, but I think it's going to be Gunther. I think Gunther could carry
that's right.
through a match.
Yeah. No, I think that would be a decent match, and it would make a lot of sense from the stories they've been telling. Robbie gave us an interesting one here. This is going to be a think or tuck, so we're all going to have to think on this. So unfortunately, I'm putting you on the spot. And if you want to defer it, go ahead. But he said, build your dream show. You pick one brand / roster, so men's Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, one pay-per-view, and one arena, and one stipulation for your main event.
I think maybe we do a 3-match card, an opener, a mid card.
That seems harder. I could do this. We can't change his question.
No, he says build your dream show, but I think each of us can come up with like an opening match, pick one brand. I think it should be all WWE, all AEW, maybe not NXT, but you know, I sometimes have trouble remembering who's on what show. And then we can settle on a pay-per-view and an arena.
So we're changing Robbie's question.
No, it says build your dream show. Are we not building a dream? That would be a 9-match card.
Yeah, no. But I think what he's basically saying is like you pick a roster. Like I would pick NXT, do it at Stand and Deliver, and do it in the Tokyo Dome.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he's kind of getting at. And the main event is Obafemi versus Trick Williams. I don't know.
Oh, not actual matches.
Yeah, that's how I'm taking it. Unless you're Ian, how are you interpreting?
I just said that.
We're just tell me what to do. I got lost from the start.
Robbie, I'm sorry, we're gonna punt on this one. It's just too much of a thinker, and it's causing us to be confused.
No.
All right, then you do it because I'm confused even more now.
Pick one brand. roster. We're going
NXT.
WWE. All of us.
No,
We're
that's
doing
the
it.
whole entire thing. You're not understanding it. It's got to be SmackDown, Raw, or NXT.
I don't think that's a big deal in this question.
Okay.
SmackDown.
Okay. Give me something else.
It's the one I don't watch live.
Like, we'll do an AEW one.
Okay.
Why can't we each build our own dream show with
that's fair.
and then you pick a couple matches. But I would like to, maybe I'll do Raw, I guess. I don't know where the guys come from. I don't remember that very well.
Yeah. For brand / roster, I want to make it hard. So try to do like the Raw men's instead of the whole Raw roster. That's why I said it's kind of a thinker, and we might just need to defer this question, Doug.
We'll save it for another episode here.
Can we save that, please?
That could be its own episode.
Okay. Dave Meltzer, auto 5-star match if it's at the Tokyo Dome. Yes, Tony, that's why I picked
there is something about the environmental bump on those shows.
This is true. Raw men's roster, Hell in a Cell at the Tokyo Dome, and the main event is a TLC match.
So that
okay. So here's my thing. I'm doing.
Want to leave this?
No, where he didn't ask for matches. You pick a brand, pick a thing. What would it be? My dream show. We're not talking the card. Okay, my dream show. I do think it's fair if I say WWE tag team division. I would put together a tag team pay-per-view. Okay, and then we're gonna put it in the Allstate Arena because Big House, Chicago. No, let's put it in the United Center. Okay, so we'll go bigger. WWE doesn't run the United Center. We are going to do. This is going to be. What pay-per-view? That's the thing. I gotta find a pay-per-view here. It's going to be Money in the Bank, but the Money in the Bank is a Money in the Bank tag team ladder match. That is the stipulation for the main event. So 4 tag teams in a Money in the Bank ladder match, they get a Money in the Bank contract to cash in on a tag team opportunity.
All right. I'm going to make it quick because we have a lot more questions to get to. I'm actually going to pivot and say I'm making another evolution. It's going to be all the women's roster in the WWE. It's going to be called Evolution 2. I know it's a cop-out answer, but I'm going to do it. We'll do it in the Staples Center or the Intuit Dome or whatever it's called, the new stadium where the Clippers play.
It's sweet.
And then the main event, a last women's standing match.
Oh, there we go.
I have a one that's kind of a hot take. Let's do the NXT men's roster at the ECW Arena, and their main event would be a tag team match with ECW legends in that match.
Hardcore tag team match, right?
Hardcore, yeah. We can do hardcore tag team. Yeah, that sounds good. I think I like that idea.
Run back last week, but change the
No,
main
that was.
All right, great question. Round 2. I'm going WWE Raw Men's Division.
No. We're done. We are done.
What?
We are done. Tuck, we're moving on.
Kind of fun. Kind of fun. Because we went like arenas. We could have went football stadiums, baseball stadiums. I want Fenway Park.
I was going to say, I got to think more on that. It's got to have to be like, I want to actually like lay out the actual card.
We could literally dedicate an entire episode to it. That's
Yes.
why
Menu bucket list. Go to patreon.com/
we don't have
that would be additional content you could offer on like a Patreon or something. I mean, I do also think it could be its own show. So you're welcome, Robbie, for the best 3 minutes of your life. You know, I have one thing in common with my wife.
Okay. You did bamboozle us a little bit there, Robbie. Raw roster at SoFi, main event, Corbin retires John Cena. A very on brand of the Great Brown Hope. And speaking of John Cena, Tony asked, John Cena should win one more world title in 2025. True or false, Ian?
Yes, absolutely.
True.
True. Yeah.
Tuck, do you got anything to add?
Yeah, it's not one match. They have a year, right? So they have this runway to invest in it, and build a story and build a hero's journey, if you were. And I think you can do it without Gunther taking a hit. Does he beat Cody Rhodes? I don't know. I don't know.
Gunther.
We got to see. I do think it could happen. Then you have John Cena as your figurehead over. Do they even mention Ric Flair like in the title count? You know what I mean?
They do.
I never want to hear about Ric Flair's record ever again. I've lost a lot of respect for that man.
He's 1-0 in his last matches, though. 1-0, 2 heart attacks.
Yeah, he died. He actually died in that match too.
Trash
they
car.
said,
Yeah,
didn't he? Yeah, that's not great. I
Underdog.
think yes, just because he's just a true WWE guy through and through. Ric Flair dabbled in the NWA. He was more known for what stuff he did in the territories. I think you got to have a true WWE guy holding that record, and I think there's a lot of good stories that could be told with that title. I mean, people chasing John Cena, having dream matches with John Cena for the world title. That's money. That's appointment television.
I just want to stick with my hot take. I've said it before. I want John Cena to beat Cody, and then Cody turning heel after losing that title.
Ooh, I don't mind that.
A lot of red, white, and blue merch to be sold in that one, boys.
That would be awesome.
It would be pretty cool. I can't lie. But Kyan, who's not even in the chat, did ask us a few questions. He said, which NXT stars do you think will be main roster champs in the next 5 years? I think there's a lot of them down there. But when I look at that roster right now, Obafemi is the first one that, I think of. Roxanne Perez is a slam dunk. Going to be a women's champion on the main roster soon. I would say Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson, Trick Williams. I think I already said that one, though. Any other names, Tuck, that I'm missing that you could see in NXT? I know you watch a little bit more than Ian does.
Jordan Grace. I'm plucking that name. I think that's very natural. It's not a I don't think it's a stretch. Okay. But is she going to get the Ivy Niles Zoe Stark treatment on the main roster? Big, jacked, strong. I don't know. Hopefully not.
You got any names in mind, Ian?
I mean, with the now mid-card title for the women's, maybe Sol Ruka would be kind of interesting to see.
Sol Ruka?
I'm not sure. There's no names that like pop off the charts for me. I don't think we have a frozen.
There we
go.
This is a fair one. Bill said, I want to say Wesley. I think that's very possible. How could we not say Javon Evans? I feel like Javon Evans eventually is going to get up and win some titles. So, any other names you guys can think of? Tim said Julia. Yeah. Ian on that hotel Wi-Fi. Yes.
You went robot slow there for a second.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I didn't get any answer to my suggestion.
Yeah. We didn't hear you, bud. Sorry.
I did say you actually would like my take. I said Sol Ruka possibly.
Yeah, I heard you say Sol Ruka. I agreed with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a big Sol Ruka guy. Some are saying the biggest. Actually, no. What? How could I not say Fallon Henley? Fallon Henley's going to be a champion on the main roster
champ, though?
Yeah. She's the North American champion right now. Yeah. It's like saying Kalani Jordan. You could see that.
I
couldn't. A lot of names down there. Oh, you couldn't see Kalani Jordan being a main roster champion?
No, not in 5 years.
I actually agree with you because I think she's
5 years.
Dude, how many champions are we gonna? How many titles? We just built 16 title changes.
But there also is now a women's mid card. There's a women's tag team division.
Yeah, but there's a lot of main roster women that are still there that are still credible too. Like two of them. You
could even say Jada Parker.
Three of them.
There's so many.
Jada Parker's very good.
Yeah, Lola Vice. I can go on for days. Another question here from Robbie. How do you think this Bloodline story will finish? Robbie's really making us think.
Robbie, these questions, man.
Robbie, I would think the safe answer is it. I know when it ends. I would say WrestleMania. I don't think you could stretch it past WrestleMania 41. How does it end? I think The Rock has to be pinned by someone. Whether it's Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns, The Rock needs to concede, hand over the People's Championship. Solo will hand over the Ulafala or whatever they call it. And I think that's kind of how the Bloodline story will end. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts.
Yeah, I think you're on the right track because when it all comes down to it, the Bloodline story is all about the family thing. Family.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's between Roman and Rock. I think you nailed it.
Tuck, you got any additional thoughts on this one?
I do not.
You don't know how the story's gonna end?
No, I have no additional thoughts.
Oh, you agree?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, fair enough. Ian, we got another question here from Tony, but I got to take a step away real quick. So read that off for me if you don't mind.
Yep, with my very good microphone, I will use this. What do you see the world title picture being for WrestleMania 41 as we near the Rumble? Oh boy, okay. So Tuck? Let's just start here. Who do we think will have those world titles? Do you think there will be any changes? Let's start with the men's first. I mean, you have Cody with the title. Obviously, I think that's a solid lock. I don't think he's losing the title anytime soon. And you have Gunther with the other world title. Again, I don't think at this point we are going to have him lose that title before WrestleMania, but we're also kind of accustomed to these long title reigns. So, Tucky, who do you got Cody facing next WrestleMania?
Ooh, Cody's gonna face John Cena. John Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble.
John Cena's going to lose the Royal Rumble and then win the Elimination Chamber. That's my prediction. I think somebody else wins the Royal Rumble.
I could see that too. I do think he'll be a betting favorite, and I almost
100%.
hope he doesn't win because that feels more pushed and like cheaper than a world title win with a good
Who wins
story.
the Rumble?
Braun
Randy
Breaker.
Orton. Randy Orton.
Oh.
I think we're getting Randy Orton versus Cody at WrestleMania, and I think we're getting Gunther versus John Cena for the other world title. I know everybody's going to say Cody versus The Rock, Cody versus Roman. I don't see Cody versus Cena happening either.
What sells the most tickets?
Cody Cena.
Yeah,
You could argue
I think that's what it all comes down to.
I don't know that they are
Cody Rock.
really worried about selling tickets though, because the 400 level's fucking $1,300 for a 2-night ticket. So
all right, selling Peacock subscriptions. Oh, sorry. Well, it would be Netflix at that point.
well, then you got to make John Cena versus The Rock as the main event somehow. If you're talking Peacock subscriptions, yeah.
Yeah, so Tony said, though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I think Cena versus Gunther for the world title. Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. I am curious on why you're not too fond of that one, because I think that would be a fantastic match. Ian, what are your thoughts on what the world title scene is going to look like going in?
I mean, my mind is so set on it being Cody versus Cena that I see nothing else. Like I am a deer in the headlights staring straight through a tunnel right now. That is what I want. Give me what I want.
Well, if it's regarding John Cena, you can't see it anyways. So.
Oh, very good point.
Hey, shout out to John Cena, still following us on X.
Appreciate that, John. What a guy. Probably one of the 32.
As for Gunther, I don't know, because I think it's going to, at that point, it's going to be then Roman versus Rock, because again, that is the night 1 or night 2 main event, while you have Cody and Cena versus night 1 or night 2. But I don't know, night 1, night 2 main event. Who knows? Who cares? Gunther title is interesting because right now it's still Damian Priest as that guy you want to see going for that title. Jey Uso maybe, but I still don't even see it then. There's got to be some name that builds up to that point. Maybe a CM Punk. Would that be intriguing?
Yeah. I just think Punk's going to face Rollins.
Yeah.
That's where I think his direction is. Whether that's for a world title, I guess we'll find out. But I do have a middle finger for 3 people in the chat. This is a first. Tony.
Do we need the gas?
Middle finger. President of the Cena Hate Club. Thank you.
Yep.
Still calling him Walter. Bill.
Yeah, he's Gunther. Yeah.
Dude, he's Gunther now. I know how much we loved Walter, but all this on the main roster has been as Gunther. Like, I don't see him as Walter anymore. Walter was the big boy. You know, they're like
I originally hated the name change, and I was very loud about it. But now
we all were.
I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it any other way now.
Great Brown Hope, get off your high horse. What is happening to the chat right now, guys? What are we doing?
Dude, it's been a funky Thursday. I don't know. Middle of November scaries. I'm thinking, I don't know.
That's not a hot take, Robbie. I would agree with you.
I'm telling you, Cody loses.
He needs to lose.
He's becoming a heel after Mania, and I am so ready for it.
I'm glad Tony didn't flick me off back in the chat. He could have easily done that. He just said, what an eye. There it is. All right. I was expecting something to come from Bill. He said, Walter. Tim said, we have a better chance of seeing the Cowboys win the Super Bowl than seeing John Cena go heel. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
Is he vulnerable at the moment?
No.
He said, how is he vulnerable at the moment? I'm curious. Tuck, do you
Is
see
he
it? Do you
lost
see
to
what he's
Cody
saying?
Rhodes? Is that your point?
Maybe.
There were things on
Yeah.
Raw that
I guess.
the promo. Who did he have the promo with?
Priest.
Yeah, Priest.
Oh, yeah.
Priest
think
took
Priest
some
was fine.
shots. I thought Priest looked good.
Priest is looking really good lately. Like, that's
Yeah.
another guy we really don't talk about potentially being in the world title scene at WrestleMania, but he could beat Gunther, right?
Well, there was some tension between him and Ludwig too. Gunther and Ludwig.
Yeah.
And I think Great Brown Hope is right in saying that he's vulnerable. I think they were trying to make Priest look strong and also try to maybe form some sympathy for Gunther. Not that he needs it,
Right.
but I think they're flirting with it. I certainly do.
You know who really does look vulnerable out of the whole Imperium? It's got to be Giovanni Vinci, right?
It's
I'm
just
surprised
that's a guy that should go to AEW.
That's tough.
Flippy shit.
Yeah. What did he do backstage to deserve this?
As a fellow bald man, I'm not going to stand for the Giovanni Vinci lack of push, I guess I could say. They made Priest look strong and humanized Gunther. Yeah, you're not wrong. I see what you're saying. Priest has come a long way. I was so against him winning Money in the Bank and then the title, but I love his development. Glad I was wrong. Hand up to you for admitting that, sir. Ludwig to beat Gunther at Mania. Book it.
I will
could
not
see it.
I will not.
I wouldn't book it, though.
Not at Mania. I would like it for any other pay-per-view. Not at Mania.
Good shout. Definitely a good shout there. Vinci is having a way better run than Alexander Wolf, first guy to get kicked out of Imperium. Yeah, people forget that.
Oh, wait. I did not know
He was in
that.
Imperium. Yeah.
Oof.
Way back in the day. Yeah, that was before you probably were even watching wrestling. That's what's crazy about all that. We got 4 more questions, though. We're going over a little over an hour right now. So shout out to the 32 of you watching live right now. If you are watching live, it does a lot for us if you give us a like, retweet. It's just a simple one little click. Subscribe on YouTube. Be a friend. Tell a friend. Like the wrestling junkies say, just tell one person about our podcast. If you're enjoying what we are doing over here, just tell one person that might be a fan of professional wrestling that OTM is where it's at. By the marks, for the marks. And speaking of the marks,
shout out Wrestling Junkies.
For sure. Kine asked thoughts on the current tag team divisions on the main roster. Tuck, I'll go to you first.
I think they're turning their focus to it. It feels like it's giving more of an impetus. I love the shotgun start for the Motor City Machine Guns. I do stand firm that their merch is trash. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think there's I think they're starting to pay attention. I don't know that it's been thrust with the rocket, but I do think they are concerned. You got the Lucha Bros on the mind. Motor City came in. You've got the repackage of the War Raiders, which I still don't think has been enough yet.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
I like it, but it's not getting the reaction, which kind of sucks because
it's only been a couple weeks.
They also haven't had a PLE opportunity with more time. So yeah, I'm happy and optimistic. I think that would be my take.
And then the Great Brown Up says, with the New Day and Street Profits getting split soon, expect 2 or 3 NXT tag teams to get the call up. They don't even have enough good tag teams in NXT to call up anybody. I don't think the NXT tag division might be the weakest tag division in wrestling right now, at least in my opinion. Ian, what's your thoughts on the current tag team divisions?
I like what they're doing with it. It's making it more of a commodity for tag team wrestling, especially with Tuck, like you said, the Motor City Machine Guns. Now that they have the titles, it's you kind of want to watch the tag team matches. They're mixing in that AEW approach of it's fantasy booking at this point. Like you can mix and match Machine Guns with pretty much anybody, and it's going to sell because I've never seen it before. So I like what they're doing with that. And again, I'm a huge, I don't know if you could call it, it's part of the tag team. I don't think you really can, but the New Day split up is something that it's kept my attention this whole time. And I love it.
Well, they're using tag teams to tell stories in that regard.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Do you want to answer Robbie's question since you brought up the New Day? Are they starting to realize how much New Day sucks? I don't think that's what this story has really been about.
No, I think it's actually quite the opposite. I don't think people want to see the New Day split up, but at the same time, I would love to see Xavier Woods get his solo shine because, again, before WWE, he was a hell of a singles guy, and same with Kofi, obviously. Kofi was a hell of a singles guy when he first came in. I think it would flourish, and I think it'd be a very interesting story to tell, obviously, because it's got a lot of people intrigued. As much as people will hate on it for taking it this long, I like it because it's getting me tuned back in, and no matter how long they wait, I'm waiting for them to pull that switch.
I think you guys are all saying it, and like I agree with the comment section as well. The Raw tag division doesn't feel as strong as SmackDown, but at least they're trying. Like Final Testament actually seems like a legitimate force on Monday Night Raw now, at least in my opinion. They're still working with the Wyatt Six, and the chat has been saying that Gallus could get the call up. Yeah, Gallus has been around NXT for a while. It seems like literally the whole chat loves Gallus, but I don't see the excitement in Gallus. Tuck, I don't know if you know them that well, but
they have a cool catchphrase: "Gallus boys on top."
That's a good one. Is that about all you like about them?
American made. Like we've got some floaty tag teams already.
But they're trying.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
there.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. Is the tag team division is getting to the point where it could be really good. Mm-hmm. It's still not there yet, but they're definitely working on it, kind. So that's a good question. Robbie asked, what is your guys' favorite pay-per-view ever? And I love this question. Ian?
It's AEW All Out 2021. It's not even a question. And I'm very biased because I was there, but also watching it back, it's still an insane pay-per-view.
I mean, yeah, you talk about moments in matches.
Oh my gosh.
That is the best AEW pay-per-view of all time. Can we all agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's not my answer. I've said it before. Takeovers are a good shout. I loved a lot of the takeovers back in the day, but for me, it goes back to the very first pay-per-view I ever watched. Money in the Bank, 2011, main event, John Cena, CM Punk. Punk walks out with the WWE title, and we don't know if he's coming back. Obviously, we found out a couple weeks later he did, but that card had two great Money in the Bank matches. It also had Christian versus Randy Orton for the world title. I feel like picking a WrestleMania is a cop-out answer because I think we all could say WrestleMania 40 or WrestleMania 39. Like, both were fantastic WrestleManias, but I would say Money in the Bank 2011. Tuck, what about you?
My favorite, I'm gonna say Nashville SummerSlam, just because we were there and it was fun, and the trailer spot. I really enjoyed a Brock Roman match. That was one of my favorite ones I've seen live. Favorite pay-per-view ever. That's hard.
Was that the tracker spot where they broke?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Oh yeah.
And Damage Control debuted there.
Yeah.
There was a couple big.
That was fun, but I went to All Out. Gags, the ticket you gave me. That was an incredible show. That was 20. Was that 20? No. When did I? 19?
Yeah, it was probably before.
Yeah, one of the first ones. Great seat.
Ian, honestly though, All Out 2021 is probably my top 5.
Yeah, when you've been to
a lot.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say you know how many I've watched, and NXT has a lot in that conversation as well. And I think Robbie, this is a good honorable mention for me as well. Mania 30 for the Daniel Bryan moment still gives him chills. That was a fantastic show. Bill said Mania 22. And Doc says January through April 2001 had arguably the best 3 pay-per-view stretch ever. Royal Rumble was the best ever. No Way Out had 3 stages of hell between Stone Cold and Triple H. And then, of course, WrestleMania 17. I might have to watch that stretch.
WrestleMania 18 I did watch back, and it is loaded.
Oh, yeah. WrestleMania 17 is highly regarded as the best, if not one of the best. And you know what's crazy, Tuck? I don't know if you see it on your social medias, but a lot of people are starting to put respect on WrestleMania 39. Like, people think that honestly was one of the best wrestling shows of all time.
Oh, yeah.
It's better than 40, in my opinion. If you just take away the main event, obviously that is going to be talked about when it comes 20 years from now, when people look back at 39, 40, they're just going to look at the main events. When you look up and down the card, I was more entertained from 39 than I was 40, like throughout.
Yeah, and it seems like Tony might agree with you. He said 39 was very, very
Those
strong.
tag team showcases were phenomenal.
I'm telling you, there was only one stinker on 39, and it was John Cena versus Austin Theory. The rest was great.
I forgot about that match.
And John Cena's my GOAT.
Snoop Dogg with a win.
Oh, yeah.
How could we forget? I do agree with Bill. He said AEW All Out is easily AEW's best. I think they always deliver at All Out, and maybe it's just Chicago, or maybe we're biased.
People are saying.
Mania 19 was Tim's peak fandom. Wow, they are showing their age right now. But apparently 39 is top 5 for Bill, so a lot of people also say WrestleMania 39. Yes, Tony, that match was good. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul on Logan Paul's birthday, so all good answers for sure. But we do have 2 more questions, and we are running a little late. I'll go to Ian here first. We kind of already answered the first part of this question, so do you think John Cena should win both the world title and the IC title next year, making him a Grand Slam champion and the record holder?
Ooh. You know what? I don't hate that idea, but I have Cena winning the world title against Cody at Mania, which I've talked about like 3 times during this show. Let's just say that.
Right.
For the Intercontinental title, I'm not sure because that I don't think Braun's going to lose it anytime soon, Braun Breaker. But at the same time, that is really
a credible guy to lose it to. You could argue Braun Breaker lost it to Cena.
Yeah.
Cena's going to come in. I think he's going to take it seriously. He strikes me as professional. I think it's going to be a good run.
Yeah, Great Brown Hub said I'd rather Cena beats LA Knight and brings back the Open Challenge. And I think that's a fair point, too, from Tim. Depends on who's the IC champion. I actually like that comment a lot. I don't think he necessarily needs it, Tuck. That's just me.
Neither.
If he's going to set the world title record, why does he need to be Grand Slam champion, you know?
Correct. I'm more iffy about the IC title. I don't really see that happening. I don't think it needs to happen because that's not the selling point of it. It's the world title. That's what everybody knows about. It's breaking that record.
And I kind of agree with what Tony's saying. I don't take a lot of stock into the whole Grand Slam thing either because everybody's getting it, it seems. He's right.
Yeah, because there's really good wrestlers that just win a lot of titles over their 20 years of being a wrestler.
Yeah, if you're around, you're probably going to win a Grand Slam. Look at Miz. The guy never gets hurt, consistent, has won everything. And credit to him. That's a great accomplishment, but I agree with Tony.
Yeah, shout out Miz.
Yeah, shout out Miz. From Cleveland, by the way. If they can give Big Show an IC title win at WrestleMania, they can give Cena the IC belt.
I
mean, they can.
We're in different times.
I mean, trust me, I get it. They can easily give John Cena the IC title, but I think there's just bigger fish to fry with John Cena next year in his retirement tour. That's just me. We got one final question, but I do have 2 comments here. Stay winning, Miz. Yeah, Miz is winning in life.
I was going to say, I just want to bring that up. I am really intrigued by the Miz and the Testament, Final Testament.
Right.
I don't know what you guys are feeling about it. I'm loving it.
I enjoy it.
That's fine.
Okay.
The Final Testament seems to be more up your alley, Tuck, because you're kind of like a spooky guy. They're kind of dark and mysterious.
I don't like it. It's fine.
Enough. It's fine.
I don't hate it.
No.
I watch.
Could be worse then. Gotta love the Miz, whether he's a heel or face, but yeah, so much better as a heel. We all know that's a guy that needs to face John Cena next year. Is the Miz. And Bill said debuts an IC spinner belt. Man, that would totally ruin the IC title. I feel like the IC title is like the historic looking title belt.
WWE's a business. They can sell them.
They can make money. They would make money. And if they did make that title belt, you could scan that QR code that's in the corner right there by Tuck's head. And if you're going shopping, we want to get some WWE merch for the holidays, just scan that right over there because a little bit comes back to us here at OTM to help put out this show every single Thursday for you guys. So go ahead and visit the WWE shop today. Bring back the white IC title. It's right here. It's right here. My favorite belt in wrestling. You want to get a little close up? Here you go.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
There you go, Robbie. Just look at it. Look how nice it is. It's beautiful.
Indeed.
24/7 title.
We got one more question here, and I think it is from Robbie. Yes, it is. Last one. What type of match would you guys like to compete in? He's talking us wrestling.
Royal Rumble. I'm into there. I'm out of there. We'll see. I'll take a bump over the top. I'll just run right through. I don't care.
Oh, that's a great answer. I did not expect it, but I like it.
We'll
Fair
see.
enough. Ian, what would you compete in?
Anything but ladders. I hate ladders, and if that thing is wobbling while I'm in the ring, I'm gonna shit myself. I'm not gonna go with the cop out Royal Rumble because you already said it. Not a cop out on your part.
Oh,
I get
okay.
it.
All right.
I totally would do that.
Cop out tuck, they call him.
Let's go last man standing. Last man standing. I'd go to sleep for 9 seconds straight and then just get back up.
What's the finish? Where are you going down?
I would do a Roman Reigns type of situation during COVID where he's locked to the steel post or whatever it is, and I can't get back up. That would be my thing. Because, I'm such a big guy. You can't stop me. I'm always going to get back up. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough. It's Great Brown upset put me in a street fight with D'Angelo Blows. I love that nickname for Tony D'Angelo. I'm not a big Tony D'Angelo guy, so that's one thing we can agree on. Match stipulation.
Well, I mean, this is
hair versus hair match.
This is a tenured wrestler right here.
Hair versus hair match. Yeah, because I can't lose.
No, it would have to be a beard versus beard match. But who would it be against?
Tim Vicious.
Get weird.
Bring it on, Tim.
That's AEW right there.
Well, I'll take him on. No, I probably would go with probably an Extreme Rules match just to use everything. I know it's kind of a cop-out too. You get chairs, you can get all of that fun stuff involved.
Hey, you don't have to be smart to be in those matches. They're easy.
This is true. Hey, guys, do me a favor, though. Go to the private chat real quick and give me an idea who's going to win MVM, because I have no idea who is going to be walking away with that MVM title. Robbie said, give me a Punjabi prison match versus the Great Khali. I love that one. Great Brown Hope said, the Great Brown Hope and Tim Vicious versus the Brawling Brutes. Kyle, Extreme Rules, would you take a tack spot? No.
Oh,
I'd take a Lego spot.
Yeah, Legos are easy. I don't know why people complain.
They're not?
They're not. I built a lot of Legos as a kid. I would throw those things into a blanket. That's how I would build. They're not that tough.
Tim Vicious, I would cut a promo on you, but we're at the end of the show, and running out of energy over here. Okay, fair enough. I got the feedback from the boys in the chat, so let's get to it. If you're not familiar with OTM, there's something we have behind us right now, and it's called the Most Valuable Mark Championship. Tuck, what is the MVM? What does that even mean?
The Most Valuable Mark is the award. The title. It's really a title defense week in and week out for the most valuable mark in the chat, in the community, someone who's going with us, enjoying the content, with the mailbag certainly steering some of the conversation tonight. So the MVM is our most valuable mark, our most quality, like the real OG. And tonight it turned into a fatal four-way pretty quickly. There was scramble. There was action, top to bottom. One of the things you love to see.
Ian, I think I'll let you do the honors here and give out today's MVM.
Yeah, no, as Tuck said, it's a mixture of the mailbag. There was one guy that continued to question, and his questions puzzled us. We didn't know how to answer them at first and for a while. And if you don't understand who I'm talking about at this point, then let me just spell it out to you. It's Robbie Collins.
Hell of a fight tonight, though.
One
Robbie
of the pillars
was just on his last, stamina right there in the video game.
One of the pillars of the OTM community. A very, very early adopter of the podcast. It feels like we're watching Robbie grow up right in front of us, boys. And so it's one of those things where the strap is not a flippy title all the time. Robbie shows up and he shows out from all the way across the pond in many different time zones. And it's a thing you love to see.
Kind of brought in some listeners to our podcast as well. So, I love that shot that you're saying that he's one of the pillars. I would say he's one of the pillars of our fandom. I would say Ian, Ryan Vogus, and Erica Marini. I'm sorry, everybody else, because those core four that you were part of it. You should be one of the pillars. You're going to give it up to somebody else.
No, I would give it up to somebody because that's like saying Britt Baker is still one of the pillars of AEW.
All right, then give me your fourth OTM pillar.
You don't have to throw that back on me like that. Can I just go Junkies Pod in general?
You can. I'll allow
Okay,
it.
I would go Junkies Pod in general. They helped us elevate even further.
I'm gonna get my belt back. Look at this. The promos going on in the chat over
Sports
the MVM, and the Great Brown Hope's right. The MVM division is deep. It's going to be tough for him to get his sixth reign. You know, we're kind of building up a strong contenders list over here.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You love to see it.
It's been fun to watch you guys grow too. What a ride. Yes.
Hey,
not done though,
Robbie's got his name in the hat for that 400 subscriber Rey Mysterio giveaway. He's hit the subscribe button, you know?
Yeah. So if you want to also get involved in that with a chance to win that and a bunch of stuff from the Great Brown Hope, if you're not familiar with the Great Brown Hope, check out his work over at the Main Event Wrestling Network. If you're not familiar with Tim Vicious, you're missing out. Go check out Vicious Rants and Vicious Chats on his channel. We got so much great podcasters too. Us, of course. I mean, we're fantastic. And of course, we have the Wrestling Junkies podcast, the Indie Wrestling Guide to complete the family of content creators. And of course, there's other people out there that contribute as well. And you can check all that out at the Main Event _net on all of our socials. Tuck, where would they go if they were looking maybe for OTM merchandise? Like
On the markwrestlingpodcast.com. It's easy. It's easy. What's the name of our podcast? Put it .com. On the markwrestlingpodcast.com. That's it.
That's all you got to do. MVM of the year at the OTMs. Oh, I like it.
Oh, now I don't know if someone's going to get their house set on fire. I'm not.
I think that's a new category because I can think of 4 people right off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah.
They probably are all in that chat. Those are the day ones. I acknowledge the chat. We acknowledge. Yep, there it is. That goes out to all you guys right there. Ian, what's happening in about a month or so on December 19th?
Well, that would be called the 4th annual OTMs. We've been doing it for 4 years plus. Not the podcast. We've been doing it for a much longer time. Actually, like five years, just over 5 years. But we have the 4th annual OTMs, and if you have not tuned into an OTMs, it is a great time. It's all about celebrating wrestling, which is the purpose of our podcast. So that's what it's all about. We will be choosing match of the year. I like the idea of a heel of the year, face of the year. That sounds pretty intriguing to me. Match of the year. There are so many categories, and we still have to brainstorm what's going to be happening and what categories we're going to be presenting. And it's not going to be just us 3 or us 4, whoever presenting those awards. It'll be people from the community because that's what it's all about. We just want to celebrate wrestling with all of you guys.
For the marks, by the marks. So make sure you're following us, of course, at Pod on the Mark to stay up to date with OTM. Like we said, Tucky, there is a lot coming up. 3 PLE/pay-per-views. As you would say, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan, right?
Indeed, it is, boys. It is a great time to be a wrestling fan. We're heating up here. We got a nice stretch of pay-per-views and shows, NXT, AEW, and WWE. And then you got Saturday night's main event not far behind. So there are things,
Fuck.
you know.
That's 4 straight weeks. That is 4.
I don't think it's 4 in a row. I think
Saturday night the 15th. Saturday night main event.
Yeah.
I think it's the 15th because deadline's
15th or 16th. Yeah. So that's 4 weeks in a row. So we're eating, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great time to be a wrestling fan. Until next time, next week, as we head towards full gear. I'm interested. I have not kept up with AEW, so we'll see how it goes. Looking forward to tuning back in, checking that out. It's going to be a great time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.